Okay. Well, Jake, when we last spoke, we were talking about, um, your college and graduation and so forth. So, today, in the next couple of meetings, I want to focus on business. But I still have some questions from my first question is, you told me how you met Lou, correct? And I think you said you met with somebody introduced you to her.
Yeah, with the roommate, his girlfriend, and Lou used to work at the same doctor's office.
Was that in Southern California?
Yeah, right over here in Long Beach.
So how did you get to Southern California?
Well, I wanted to come to California.
And you didn't know why?
I just always wanted to come.
Maybe California had an arranged marriage for you
No,
with Lou.
no.
I'm kidding.
The main thing is I wanted to come to California because of it was a fascinating thing of movie industries, aeroplanes, and up and coming area rather than Minnesota or something, a routine.
So in Minnesota, you didn't see the growth.
No, in Minnesota it was mostly education.
Okay. So when you went to Minnesota, you studied.
Yeah.
And then you felt like California was more of an opportunity.
But the main thing was the climate also.
And the climate. Got it. Now, did you fly here?
No, I bought a car.
Okay.
And
Now, before we go there, did you have a job when you were in Minnesota?
no.
So your father would help you?
Yeah.
As long as you did good with school?
Yeah, I graduated and I was doing, and I had a car and people would hire me to use my car and take them sightseeing, and which I saw Minnesota quite a bit.
So they would pay you. So you did. So while you were studying, you worked a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of it, just because we wanted to see the country also.
Sure. And did your father ask you what your grades were, or would he?
No, my father was not alive.
He was not alive.
No, he had passed away.
Oh, so your father died young.
No, not young, but
How old was your father when he died?
75 or so.
Okay. And can I ask you another question? So when your father dies, you're in college?
Yeah,
So you haven't finished yet.
no.
But it sounds like you continued to get good grades. He had already molded you.
Oh yeah, we had, see it, now I'll use the word, we were a joint family. That means the whole family was one. Everybody worked and put everything in the kitty and then
Really? So the money all went to one bank account?
Yeah, there were several banks accounts.
Right. But everybody worked and put the money in.
Yes, because my father started it, and he always, like I said, he was a very sharp man, and he could see where the money was.
So how old were you when? Do you remember how old you were when your father died?
I was in college.
You were in college. Was it in the United States?
No.
No, you were not in the United States.
In India.
Oh, you were in India. Okay, that's interesting to me. The reason it's interesting to me is, were you almost done with college? Do you remember how old you were when he died?
I couldn't tell you. That's about I would say about 20s.
20s. Okay. And when once he dies, this is interesting to me because I have been thinking a lot about what we're talking about. So he dies. He had already set up where all the family put all their money in the kitty. Then how do you decide to come to the United States? I thought maybe before.
No, I mean, because we were contractors and they needed encourage me to become an engineer, and that was the
So this is interesting. So the family kind of started to plan who should do what.
yeah. They encouraged you.
They encourage you, yeah. So they had a successful contracting company, the family,
Very successful. Right now,
and they said we need 2 engineers.
they needed more.
Okay.
I mean, they had hired engineers and they wanted somebody from the family to.
Oh, that's excellent. So this is really interesting because in listening to our last 2 meetings, you had to get good grades to keep moving on,
Yeah.
and not everyone in the family did that, right?
Actually, you see, the system was such that you got to work and make money before you do anything else. And my father had set up businesses and went out and got more businesses so we could
So
become rich.
so you become wealthy. That allows you the education.
The education,
So without the
the
sacrifices,
status in the community. I mean, if you don't have money, they don't talk to you. But if you have money, then
right? So the sacrifices of your father actually paved the way
yeah,
for your education and your brothers and sisters' education.
everybody.
So was everybody educated in your family?
Yes, everybody was educated after.
Even the women?
Yes,
Okay, nice.
yeah.
And that's very interesting. So they decide that, they encourage you to become a civil engineer, correct?
Yeah, they wanted because we were in civil engineering, so that was my.
Right. So this is interesting though. You have a successful contractor company. The family is very close. Your father has sacrificed so that everybody can be educated. So how do you decide not to go back and help the business? That's incredible.
Oh, it's well, it's sometime in life there is a joint family and they started to scatter.
So your father was the glue?
The father had passed away.
Right, but he was the glue.
Yeah,
And once he left,
yeah. And,
people started scattering.
Yeah, and then everybody had their own family to take care of. My
So your
elder
father
brother-
when he was alive kept everything together.
Yeah, and the other brothers and all, we just worked in the family, but as we grew bigger, we started to do more works. We started to make go out of the town we were in, outside to get more construction jobs so we could make more money.
Right. So this is really interesting to me, because what I want to do is learn about how things work, right, through your life. And I want to show the grandkids and the family members. So when everyone starts to separate, Jake, how does the money work?
Well, the main thing is you all get together. I mean, there is a lawyers and all that, and they divide, like my elder brothers and all. They had a big family and they worked 20 years, so they got bulk of the estate, and people like me were we got education and we got some money to start on our own or join them.
Okay, so you could go. So there's an inheritance. The inheritance gets divided.
Yeah.
Depending on the ages and the size of the families.
Yeah.
Because some people have kids, some people don't have kids.
Yeah.
And then you get your inheritance, and you decide, which this to me is incredible. You decide, yes, I want to help the business, but you decide to come to the USA, which is a big decision.
The main thing coming to USA, one thing was education, and the other thing was fascination of all the development that was going on. Like every movie that came out, we used to see it.
From the US.
Yeah, from US and England and Germany.
So kind of the American dream.
Yeah. And you just, it's no set rules. You just go by and it falls in your lap. Like the education I wrote to get admitted into Minnesota, and I got admitted. I went there, and within a year and a half I got my master's. And there were, at that time in the United States, you turn around and you could find a job. It was not like that in India. It was very difficult because of the people.
How many people? A lot of people.
See, India had, I would say, 3 times more people than the United States.
Right.
And it was 1/5 the size.
Right. How many universities did you apply to? Just Minnesota?
I applied for about 4 or 5, but I got admitted to almost every. Chicago,
Chicago University?
and I applied for Miami, and then there was a friend who had been to United States for education, so I went to her and said, "Hey, what do you think?" Well, he analyzed the universities for me.
Wow.
Like he said, Chicago is a good one, but it's got a lot of distraction. Minnesota is one of the best for education because it's a small town and you can grab hold of it because you grew up like this. And then there is Florida. You want to be a playboy? Go there. So he had been here and he gave us real good indication.
Right.
And the thing, what attracted United States was that we could get education. It was in Europe, India. It was a very difficult to get admission. Over here, you got admitted. If you didn't get the grade, you got kicked out. So there was more freedom, more opportunities to better yourself.
No.
And being my upbringing, I wanted to become a millionaire.
A billionaire.
Millionaire.
A millionaire. And you
Because,
succeeded.
Yes, I succeeded.
Congratulations.
Because all what you see about my kids, my relatives, everything, they're all taken care of.
Because of your hard work.
Yeah,
Actually, because of your father's hard work.
Yeah, generation came.
which leaves more responsibility.
Yeah, and like I said, like Adam, he wanted to become a playboy. I had to put a noose around his neck, and I said, "No, you finish the education, then become a playboy." So he's as successful as I am, or more successful.
So it sounds, Jake, also one of my takeaways is, we as family members, right, for my family, we have a duty to make sure that we also pave the road for our immediate kids.
Actually, that's what I did
Yes.
for my kids. What they did for me, my elders, I just followed the route.
Right.
When he came and he said that he was going to go to Spain and teach and learn, and I said, bullshit. And then after about 5 or 6 years, I asked, how are your friends doing? Not one of them was successful. Or they got married, they got divorced, nobody went to college.
Right.
So he realized that what I had done for him was he couldn't have achieved it.
Well, you have two very successful children.
Yeah,
Both are very successful children.
both.
So, do you remember how old you were when? So, I'm gonna back up a little bit. You could make your applications from India for the United States universities.
Oh yes, that's what I
So
did.
you put it in the mail
Yeah.
because there was no internet, right?
Huh?
No internet.
No. This internet came afterwards.
No, I know. So you had to make it all in the mail and mail it.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was just a routine like we do over here.
Wow,
If you want something, you sit down, write a letter, and
that's great. That's great. And do you remember how old you were when you arrived to the U.S.?
about 22, 23, I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. Just wondering.
Just about that.
Uh-huh.
A little bit more, right? 25, I would say.
So you decide to come to California from Minnesota, right? Because it's
Because of
opportunity, the weather.
and the movie industry.
You're in the movie industry. So now you want to be a playboy. Now you got your education. You want to be the playboy in California. Is that it?
No,
I'm kidding.
you see, I didn't have that opportunity because I had to make a living.
Right.
Because once you cut off from the family, you settle here,
So did
they're
you?
not going to, they helped. I mean, they sent money initially, but sooner or later they say, hey,
Yeah. Did you use all of your inheritance on school, and then you had no money? You had to get to work.
no, you see, inheritance came later, quite a bit later. I mean, we were a family. If we needed money, all we did is ask, and we got it.
But you respected it. You didn't waste it.
Yeah, you couldn't, I mean, they wouldn't give it to you. I mean, the whole family is successful because of the restriction.
So who would you, when your father was no longer alive, who would you ask for the money? Who was in charge of the money?
Well, there were brothers who took over the administration and all.
So
elder
who would
brothers.
decide? Just one brother or all the brothers?
No, there were 4 brothers working, and then 3 of us we were going to school.
And so you would ask for money, and they would all talk.
They would encourage us to go apply here, do
Right,
this,
but
do that.
but I'm more interested in understanding when you needed money, who would decide how much money or if you could get the money? The 4 brothers?
No, it was family.
The whole family would decide.
Yeah, the whole family. It was, you wanted money, they would write a check.
Okay, but if somebody's not doing right, who decides yes they get money or they don't get money?
Well, that was the brothers who were running the business.
Okay, so they would talk and they would say yes,
Oh yeah,
give Jake money.
if I was not successful in passing.
The grades.
Yeah, the grade.
Did you have to send them your report card?
Oh yeah, man.
Oh.
I had to make sure that all my report cards and all that went. The university was in touch
Would-
with my
And
family.
would they call you and and ask you, hey, why didn't you get a better grade on this or?
It was very difficult to analyze because the systems were different.
Okay.
England and India were on the same system. America was in a very different system. They wouldn't understand, I wouldn't understand, I still don't understand.
Can you explain what's different?
Well, you take, let's take a career like mine. I go to high school, I graduate, and I have to have good grades to be admitted to one of the technical schools or higher education if I get accepted because of the good grades. And we had a system that let's say there was a college in Nagpur. Now a college means there is a science college, there is an arts college, there is a agriculture college. They're different colleges. They are not universities like we have, but they have a university that controls, that makes examinations, that gives tests and then corrects the papers and see if you are qualified to go on or successful and enough knowledge to start practice.
That was very different.
Very different. But you see, it was like a staircase. We took one step at a time, one step at a time. Over here, you skip 10 steps, but then you come back and you start repeating it. Because you have opened up doors. If you are capable of taking a chance and going ahead with education, which is not there in other countries.
So it sounds like in India they put you in slots.
Yeah, it's just one at a time, like a high school over here. University is the same. It's a bigger high school.
Right.
But over here, like my granddaughter, I talked to her a couple of days back. I called her. I said, "Oh, how are you doing?" When she first, this is her second year, first got admitted, she was a good student. So far, all my family has been good. And they were successful. They didn't fail. They got A's and B's and all that. So they got into the second grade. And we used to encourage them to go ahead. What the hell do you want to do? The same thing with Adam and Tammy. Tammy, I mean, it was said, I mean, she wanted to be an architect since a kid. And we she went to Long Beach State because she couldn't get admission in the architecture school. Well, fortunately, Adam went to school with another friend of his who was a sportsman, and they got friends together. Their father was hired by USC. So I said, well, why not? I went over and talked to him. I said, hey, I've got a problem. He said, there's no problem. You just get the application and I'll get her admitted. There she is.
That's great. So you come to California from Minnesota. Were you in California a long time before you got married, or you get married fairly quickly?
No, we're 2, 3, 4 years.
Two to 3, 4 years.
Yeah, I wasn't going to stay here or anything.
You wanted to go back to India?
You see, okay, now I'm going to sidetrack you.
Okay.
India is a country with about 4 times the population of United States or more, or 10 times. Then, on top of it, we have different caste, different religions, different upbringing. Like, I'll give you some examples so you'll understand it. I am a Muslim. I am born, raised a Muslim. I go to a mosque to pray. I eat meat, goat meat or a cow meat. I don't eat pig because it's not allowed. And there are restrictions attached to my religion. Then the majority of the people in India are Hindus. Now they are idol worshippers.
Idol.
Idol. They worship and stones and gods and.
Okay.
But that's a religion also, and they are the majority. Like we were about 25% there, 75%. But then there is fractions among them also. Like fractions in, like a Muslim religion. I'll tell you, there are Muslims who have been brought up real good, who go to church, who study the religious part, who do things. They are in a class by themselves. Like, let me say, the Catholics. Now, I don't know how far you know about Catholics.
I'm Catholic.
Huh?
I was born Catholic.
Okay, all right. So, you know that you have brought up that on Friday you don't eat meat, Sunday you go to church. You are more restricted than the Protestant.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But the religion is again very complicated. You have to think a lot. You believe in Jesus Christ, the Protestant believes in Jesus Christ, but Jesus Christ did what he did, and stupid people like us changed it, like the Pope, the Archbishop. Why? Because they wanted to control it. So the religions turned into politics. And to this day, all religion are controlled or being trying to control, that you bow down when I tell you to, you said when I tell you to, I'll give you a piece of bread. If you don't do it, you don't get the bread.
Right.
I'm going into something
That's good.
which I shouldn't.
No, that's
Because
good.
most people don't understand
No, I understand what you're saying.
what religion is. It's very, very difficult to understand a religion. I'll tell you that when the Jewish were kicked out, the Christians were kicked out from certain sects. Now, they came to India, they're still there. They're still following the religion. There are a lot of Catholics, lot of Protestants, but there is just a minute difference. They said that I will turn to south and pray, and I will say I'll turn to north and pray. The difference are very minor, but it becomes major. And then there are people, idiots like me, excite people and kill each other.
Why would you say you? You're not that type of person.
I'm just giving you an example.
I get it. Okay.
I mean, everybody gets involved.
Right.
You know, I don't know, you haven't been outside, but if you go, like, go to Jerusalem, where they now say it's half is Israel, half is
Palestinian,
Muslim,
Muslim.
or whatever. And they're the same people. But for centuries now, the thing about, I'm going off track.
That's okay. It's good.
Because this is how we were brought up. See, to us, money was important, but religion was very important. And we still, I still believe in religion. I mean, I'm not a communist, or I'm not a heathen, but I'm not a good Muslim, because I eat, I drink, which I should. And the things are, you got to understand one thing, that this country has got a lot of good things, 99% good and 1% bad.
Yes.
And we have Trump to prove it.
Yeah.
So, you take it that we are better because there are more good people than bad people. And I think India is the same way. Because of the religion, the family, everything comes together.
Jake, that's interesting. What I feel when you say that is, you see good in people
Yeah,
more than you see bad.
yes. Because that's the way we were brought up. The main thing is,
So how do you handle the bad people?
okay, let me put it this way. The, we are, you and I are living in India, not here. We have got certain systems which is not here. I'll go back to here first. Like there was a guy working over here. And I got to know him a little bit better than the others. And I asked him, he was Catholic, and his sister, eldest sister, was also here, and she had hired him. And I asked him about the religion one day. And you know what he said? He said, I do a lot of bad things, but I do one thing good. I said, what's that? He said, I believe in myself that I am a Catholic. Just believing in is all you want.
But it almost
The
gives it.
rest is shit.
Yeah.
It just like my family used to say, hey, you believe in God. They were very, very important things, because religion was believing. But you know, most people didn't believe in God. They don't believe in God, they don't believe in anything.
Right. So they have no
And-
moral compass.
And that is because we, as you and I, think that our elders were full of shit, going to church and all that. It's not necessary.
That's true. That's how we thought. That's how I thought.
I thought, and we thought, and these are the things that has come into play in this world. The thing is, I'll put it very simple. You go and kill my brother, and I'll turn around and I'll say, one of these days, you're going to be gone because I'm going to take the revenge.
Right.
Now, the Christians, the Jews, the Muslims, they all say, forgive him. And I don't think so. There is one person who will forgive. It's simple.
Yeah.
And all I do is think about him. I'm the biggest goddamn criminal there is.
That makes us all criminals.
Yeah, but
You think about it, and you think about it, and you pray about it.
yeah, and then you know the things we I'm here is because the way I was brought up, there was things in line. You take step at a time, step at a time. You learn to walk, you learn to run, you learn to do this. It's the same thing in education and all that. And everybody in the family, they guide you. But you say they're full of shit. Your own people. Because you go to school and somebody tells you, oh, hey, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So the thing is, when it comes to believing, it's come to raising, like I told you about Adam's adventure. It's all you can do is guide.
Right.
They were good enough. Actually, I wouldn't say good enough. They didn't have the money, so they had to do it. But they are okay now.
So Jake, do you pray a lot? Because one of the things you said that I find myself as well, I also believe I'm a big criminal because of the things I've done in my mind.
Yeah,
But-
I pray. In a way, I have nothing against the Pope or the bishop or our priest. They all are doing the same thing. It's just different language,
Agreed.
that's all.
They're
Because
trying
they
to
all
control.
say the
They're trying to control a religion.
Right,
That's it. It's politics, really.
that's it.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you.
And
But there's some values that you have that you've created.
yeah, but the values are not created, they are given to you
From your parents.
from your elders. And that's what makes a person. Like, let's take the example of that idiot in Las Vegas.
Yeah, right.
I mean, a brilliant man.
Yeah.
He could think, he could make $1 million, but at the same time he decided to say he can shoot people also.
Stupid.
So that's where we have to stop and think.
Well, I think what I'm hearing is the family and the values that you instill on your children is very important. It's the foundation.
Like I said, that I couldn't do what my parents did for me, but I tried.
Well, I think you did a great job. Anybody that knows Tammy and knows Adam, they're beautiful citizens, beautiful people. So I think you did a fantastic job.
I tried.
And you and Lou as well.
Main thing you've got
So was
to
Lou's not Muslim, right? Lou was not Muslim.
No, she converted and then went back and forth. She's a heathen just like me.
Okay.
Anyway, the main thing, what I'm trying to tell you, what you're looking in me is exactly the same thing you look yourself, because there's not much difference. You were brought up the same way as I've been brought up, what I remember, and I think you remember the same thing.
Right.
It just,
But it's
Our
also
thinking is a little bit different.
right. But it's also like you say. It's why you have the belief that people are good more than they're bad.
Yes. My dad always said that there is some goodness in everyone. I'll give you an example. I mean, these are things which, how it affects you. Like a very simple story I'll tell you. It's a fact. There was a couple from a village. A village in India, it is like Los Angeles and Las Vegas. That much different.
That distance.
Uh, they, the girl grew up in Nagpur, it's where I live, and his family, though they were brothers, one settled in Nagpur, one settled somewhere else, say in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
Just an
I
example.
understand. I understand.
So they were good people, and they they decided that the the boy wanted to marry the girl. Now we marry cousins, Muslims. So they came and tried to get the permission of our priest. You can't do anything without that.
Mm.
So now this is what the memory is I'm talking about. And he with his father came and they were given a runaround and they said, you can't do this, you can't do that, you don't have enough money. You have to have the marriage performed in the church. So my father was a member, and as usual, he always wanted to help somebody who needed help. So he as usual, he told the priest, he said, you know what I'm going to do? The church will not spend any money marrying these two people. I will take care of it. I will get them married in my house. And nobody has to spend any money, and there is no sense in refusing to have that marriage because the cost I am bearing. And as usual, one fine morning we found out that there was going to be a little bit 50 people coming in and celebrating and eating and having the marriage ceremony. So this is how he lived. And that's why we tried to help people also. Because we saw what he did.
He was an example.
Yeah, example. And this marriage is probably, you think is full of shit, but to them
It's important.
It's one of the life's biggest thing they got.
Right.
But the thing is, all around you, things were going on with the elders. Now the elders were good and bad also. Then there were elders who would take a bottle and disappear. We had that also.
Really?
Yeah,
They drank a lot.
yeah, and I drink.
Yeah.
But the thing you got to understand, and I think as a Catholic, you are close.
I'm no longer a Catholic. I'm now Christian.
No, whatever
Same,
you're
similar.
Christian because you got kicked out.
Kind of.
I know that also. But you'll always be Catholic.
Yeah.
The, the thing is what your mother and father taught you. You can tell me that you are not a Catholic, that's a bullshit. You are a Catholic.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I will say the same thing. I said, shit, I'm not a Muslim.
Right.
I'm a
But you
Hindu."
are.
But
Yeah.
so this is the whole thing is the upbringing, the custom to follow. Now it can go haywire also.
Right.
There are too many people go into customs forgetting that they have to make a living to eat also.
Right.
But it's exactly the same here in India or anywhere else.
In the world. That's interesting. That's very powerful, Jake, because I think as you're young, you don't understand some of these things that you're talking about. But as I'm getting older, I understand more of what you're saying. So it sounds what you're saying maybe to the younger people, they're not going to understand, but I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I know because I see the things. Let me put it this way. They didn't take my ear, twisted it, and said, "You son of a gun, sit down and listen." They did it, and we listened.
They didn't do that.
Huh?
They didn't grab your ear.
No, they didn't drive. But there are families, religious people who do that,
Right.
and they get good results and bad results.
I think more bad than good.
Yeah, and my family, I'm talking about,
They led by example.
we just observed the customs and we tried to follow. That's how simple it is.
Right. Well, that's very powerful what you've just said. And the reason it's powerful is because I hope that the grandkids are able to understand what you're saying. I remember being very young and not thinking my elders knew anything, and now the older I get, I'm becoming the elder.
Yeah.
So now I'm disrespected.
Yeah,
So-
I know, and the main thing is there is a real good example. My father always used to say that we had a lot of begging. I mean, people came and wanted money so they could eat and all. And as customs allow you, every religion has a day, like we had Fridays a Sabbath day, you have Sundays, you Sabbath days, things like. And at that time, when people or the people without money and to come and beg for what, so every family, every businesses had a dole out,
They gave food or money?
money.
Money.
Mostly because
To the beggars?
business, yeah, they would come and they knew that on Fridays, Sunday will do. If it comes on Thursday, if you're good, you might do it and get the hell out. But the biggest thing is, you observe what your elders do, and you turn out all right.
Right. Okay, well, Jake, I think today we're done. So again, I'll see you next Wednesday.
Okay.
I thought today was fantastic. I really did. I enjoyed that. I really did.